morning, students. Hello or good afternoon. Hello, how are you? I'm teacher Jennifer. Today, we are going to talk about countable nouns and uncountable nouns, okay? Let's start first with countable nouns. What is or what are countable nouns? Significa sustantivos contables, ¿ok? Sustantivos que podemos contar, ¿ok? They can be singular or plural. We use a, an, or some, ¿ok? With countable nouns, it means singular o plural, ¿ok? Significa que son los sustantivos que podemos contar. Puede ser en singular o puede ser en plural, ¿ok? Para esto nosotros utilizamos a, an, or some. Here we have some examples. Singular examples, okay? For singular examples, we use there is. There is for singular. For example, in number 1, there is an apple. There is an apple. Significa hay una manzana, okay? This is in singular because it means one apple. There is an apple. In number 2, there is an egg. There is an egg. Significa que hay un huevo. Okay? We use there is. Number 3, there is a sandwich. There is a sandwich. Okay? Significa que hay un sándwich. In number 4, there is a carrot. There is a carrot. Significa que hay una manzana. Okay? In singular, we use there is. And we use an before a vowel or a before a consonant. ¿Ok? ¿Qué quiere decir? Usamos an antes de una palabra que comience con vocal. En este caso, apple comienza con la vocal a. Es por eso que nosotros colocamos antes an. There is an apple. ¿Y cuándo usamos a? Usamos a antes de una palabra que comience con una consonante. Example, sandwich. Sandwich comienza con la S. Por lo tanto, digo a sandwich. There is a sandwich. Okay? So, now, plural. Plural. For plural, we have to use there are. For plural, we have to use there are. Okay? And some. There are some. For plural. Cuando hablamos de dos cosas a más. More than two things. Más de dos cosas. For example, in number 1, there are some apples. Plural. Okay? More than one. There are some apples. Number 2, there are some eggs. There are some eggs. Number 3, there are some sandwiches. There are some sandwiches. Number 4, there are some carrots. There are some carrots. ¿Ok? Vuelvo a repetir. Estamos usando oraciones en plural. Para las oraciones en plural, yo debo de utilizar there are. ¿Ok? There are. Las oraciones son las mismas. Singular, there is an apple. Plural, there are some apples. Okay? Singular, there is an egg. Plural, there are some eggs. Singular, there is a sandwich. Plural, there are some sandwiches. Singular, there is a carrot. Plural, there are some carrots. ¿Ok? Como ven, hemos empezado con los sustantivos que podemos contar. Tanto en singular como en plural. Utilizando there is y utilizando there are. ¿Ok? Now, continue with uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns. Uncountable significa incontables. Los sustantivos que no se pueden contar. They are always singular. They are always singular. ¿Qué quiere decir? Que siempre están en singular. ¿Ok? okay? We use there is and some. We use there is for singular, okay? There is for singular. No there are. Only there is. For example, we have some examples here. In number 1, there is some bread, okay? There is some bread. Number 2, there is some cheese. There is some cheese. Number 3, there is some soup. There is some soup. Number 4, there is some tea. There is some tea. Number 5, there is some milk. There is some milk. Number 6, there is some juice. There is Number 6, there is some juice. There is some juice. Number 7, there is some rice. There is some rice. Number 8, there is some chocolate. There is some chocolate. Number 9, there is some sugar. There is some sugar. And number 10, there is some butter. There is some butter. ¿Ok? Entonces, te mostré los ejemplos del tema Uncountable nouns. ¿Ok? Los sustantivos que no se pueden contar. They are always singular. Siempre son en singular. Y siempre vamos a utilizar there is. ¿Ok? There is. Now, let's practice an activity. ¿Ok? Activity number 1. Can you see the activity? Yes? Okay. Here we have some food. Okay? Here we have some food. You have to choose the correct answer. You have to choose the correct answer. What can you see? Water, watermelons, flour, pineapples, rice, onions, juice, apples, bananas, milk, and olive oil. Let's choose the correct answer. Number 1. There you have 2 options, is, are, okay? Remember, we are going to talking about countable or uncountable, okay? For example, in number 1, there is some rice. There is some rice. ¿Por qué he puesto la opción there is? Porque estamos hablando de rice, que significa arroz. Y es un sustantivo que no se puede contar. Is uncountable noun. Okay? There is some rice. Number 2. Apples. Remember, apples, plural. Okay? There are some apples. There are some apples. Okay? Estamos hablando de manzanas. Más de una manzana. Okay? Por lo tanto, es un sustantivo que se cuenta. Countable noun. There are some apples. Next, number 3. Milk. Milk. In Spanish, leche. Is it countable or an uncountable noun? An uncountable. Very good. There is some milk. The answer is there is some milk. La leche no se cuenta. Okay? There is some milk. Next, number 4. Watermelons. Plural. Watermelons. Plural. There are some watermelons. There are some watermelons. Next, number 5. Pineapples. Pineapples. In Spanish, piñas. Okay, pineapples, plural. Countable noun. The answer is there are some pineapples. There are some pineapples. Next, number 6. Carrots. carrots, plural. Countable noun. The answer is there are some carrots. There are some carrots. Now, bananas. Bananas, plural. Countable noun. There are some bananas. There are some bananas. Okay? Next. Water. Water. In Spanish, agua. Okay? Remember, water, uncountable. No se puede contar, uncountable. So the answer is, there is some water. There is some water. Next, onions, plural. Onions, countable noun. The answer is, there are some onions. There are some onions. Okay? Finally, juice. Juice, like orange juice. You know, like orange juice, for example. Juice, uncountable. Uncountable. No se puede contar. So the answer is, there is some juice. There is some juice. Okay? Continue now with activity number 2. Activity number 2. Countable and uncountable nouns. Okay? You have to choose if it's countable or uncountable. But first, we are going to match the picture. Okay? We have olives. Olives. In Spanish, I say tunas. Okay? Now, grapes. Grapes. Okay? Peas. Peas. Olive oil. Olive oil. Bread. Bread. Honey. Honey. Sausage. Sausage. Tea. Tea. Cheese. Cheese. Cereal. Cereal. Continue with the next part. Apple. Apple. Egg. Egg. Rice. Rice. Then we have meat. Meat. Cherries. Cherries. Flour. Flour. Jam. Jam. Chips. Chips. Salt. And burger. Okay? Now we have to choose if it is countable or uncountable. Let's start with olives. What about olives? Countable or uncountable? Countable. Grapes. Countable. Grapes are countable. Olives are countable too. What about peas? Countable. Okay. Olive oil. Uncountable. Bread. Uncountable. Okay. Honey. Uncountable. Sausage. Countable. Tea. Uncountable. Cheese. Uncountable. Cereal. Uncountable. Continue with apple. Countable. Egg. Countable. Rice. Uncountable. Meat. Countable. Cherries. Sorry. Meat uncountable. Okay, meat is uncountable. Cherries, countable. Flour, uncountable. Jam, uncountable. Chips, countable. Salt, uncountable. And burger, countable. Okay? Now, let's make an example. Olives. Olives, plural. What do you have to use? There is or there are? Remember, for plural, you have to use there are. Okay? There are some olives. There are some olives. Now, what about apple? This is a singular noun. What do you have to use? There is or there are? There is. There is an apple. There is an apple. One more. Grapes, plural. You have to use there are for plural. There are some grapes. There are some grapes. And finally, what about egg? Egg is a singular, okay? A singular noun. So you have to use there is. There is an egg. There is an egg. ¿Ok? Muy bien, chicos. No olvides practicar en casa entrando a los enlaces que encontrarás en la plataforma. ¿Ok? We'll continue the next class. Okay? Bye-bye, students.